welcome to our final round of Falcon's Flight 15 presented by Innova. This coverage is brought to you by the patrons of Park Pro and the PDGA of Canada as always. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Loggains.
Thank you for that introduction, Jesse. We're catching the round 3 here on Aspen Meadows East. 2007, 7,000 feet total length. That is, this course plays much, much longer than that. For sure, the more difficult of the two courses out here, and gonna play out for some drama here.
Yes, if there's ever a course that would put the pressure on a final group, this is the one. And speaking of said final group, your leader after 2 rounds, Casey Hanemayer, who just bought a house, the man with the putt, the man with the forehand, and the man that has won this tournament before. We'll see if these guys can catch him in this final round.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, but only a 1-stroke lead. So we'll see how that shakes out. Okay, Erik Wiebe from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Such a smooth player. So accurate, and everything he does just looks like he plays within himself. Makes the game look real easy.
His fun fact is can spell almost every word in any book.
Oh, okay. Okay, Erik Hjorth-Olsen, EHO, as we call him mostly only here on this commentary, but he played soccer in Denmark, but prefers disc golf. Okay, from White Rock, BC.
And finally, our young gun on the card, Luke Levesque. His fun fact is I throw silly shots. If you want to see him throw a sweet grenade, go back and watch round 2's back 9 if you haven't seen it yet. He is a crusher, and he is having a great tournament so far.
Okay. Doubt we'd see the grenade on this hole from him, but it would be sick. So hole 1, tantalizing here. It's going to be awesome to see these guys with the power to push this green, but you got to get something through this gap that the drone is flying, and then needs to get left at some point. So you can either go left before these late trees on the right and land short in this landing zone, or try to go over the top of them and through possibly a gap that's right at pin high, or maybe even just over them and crash the trees on the left just short of the pin. Either way, you want to avoid taking the big number here, and any looks at a birdie is purely a bonus. Par is
all
what
right,
we're
everybody,
looking for.
as is tradition for Falcon's Flight, Rudy is usually here to give us the ceremonial first drive. And obviously, since he's passed, we're happy to have his daughter, Amanda, to give us the ceremonial first drive. She's really nervous, but don't be, and we're going to clap like crazy. So thank you, Amanda.
Amanda's going to toss out our final round ceremonial first toss. We'll see what she's got. Whoa, that's smooth. Wow. Stripes it. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, dead straight. You can tell she plays at Aspen Meadows.
I was not familiar with her game. Casey, eyes to the sky. I think he's probably aiming left of the pin if I had to guess. This is too low.
It might work out with how inside it is. Looks like he's just found the deep rough, the thicker the rough, but he stays on the edge. That's a very good spot.
Here, man, he gets behind that. He is very lucky to find that inside gap there.
But will he find his disc? That has trouble of being too deep on that left side fairway to come out easily.
Okay, Erik trying to give it some height, gets the momentum going in. Man, all these guys letting it go low.
Yeah, low and left of what we usually see. That's another very dangerous spot for EHO.
Okay, see if Luke can make the adjustment here. Got the hat mounted high on the head, earbud in. Okay, a couple of deep breaths. Looks like a boss in his hand.
I think that might be a Heimberg Destroyer, actually.
Through the gap, also low. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Finds the green.
That is one of
That's
the best drives
spectacular.
you'll ever see on this hole.
Absolutely. I could be wrong, but hard for me to imagine he was going for that lower line, but perhaps he was. Okay, forehand roller here from Erik.
Yeah,
Finds
catches some
something
shrubs.
out.
Lucky to get out.
Oh, this is a really tough spot here. Yeah, that's...
Oh,
Ooh, okay, falls out of the corner, but that's really what you want to avoid is going from one side into the other. Okay, man, this is a tough lie. Okay, that's pretty well done if it can dig. It does not.
40-footer. Like, it's tough there because you want to commit to that shot. But he's gotten a hold of it a little too much.
Okay, Wiebe puts one up there on the green. Gonna give himself a good look for the bogey. Casey, is this where Casey's drive ended up?
Yeah, I told you.
So he's got a look as well. 2 birdie looks here. Wow, that's got to count.
That's where the half.
Does that count? I'm not familiar.
No, that
Just
one
kidding.
unfortunately doesn't count even with the newest rules.
Man, I'd like for it to. I know I'm in the for sure certain the minority, but I'd love to see the rule just shortened to come to rest supported by the basket. Be the end of it.
Erik makes a good first putt to save his bogey there. That'll help build some confidence on the green, regardless of the +1 on his scorecard.
But hey, if you're going to disagree, I'd like to see it in the comments down below. Let me know if you like the idea of the rule being just come to rest supported by the basket. What a birdie for Luke.
Yeah, there's no better way to start around here. And I will say, looking at the stats, there was 1 birdie on the day, and you guys got to see it on coverage. The only guy to do it on a hole that had a 60% bogey or worse rate, 23% double bogey or worse rate.
Yeah, he came in right under the basket too, like almost hit the pin, which you do not see. That is unheard of. And here's how he did it. Whew.
Oh,
Kept the glasses on the face too.
all right, back to hole 2, 335 feet. We talked in one round about the changes to this hole. You need to navigate this pinch point and then start fading to the left into the protected green. The dangers here are the newly added OB, the log wall that you're seeing now in the center of your screen, and the barbed wire fence to the end. The biggest mistakes you can make here would be to pull it too hard to the right and not be able to get up and down. Shots that fade out to the left or hit early left definitely have a higher chance of getting that par.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Jesse, I think anything that makes that gap, that late gap, is something you're going to be happy with. And then if you can have some speed where it can skip up there and you give yourself a look, then I think that's a bonus. But really, you just want to see it not get hung up early, because that's what will bring bogey into play. Luke,
This man is insane.
this is for sure, I think, a way to... He's OB long. OB long Kenobi. Wow.
Yeah,
So
it
I was
looked
thinking
like
when
it
I
had
saw
the
that
heat.
high hyzer, I was thinking, that's a play for the par just to go left of the basket.
Yeah, end up 70 feet left and pitch back and be done with it.
I have to think for where that came down. He's thinking birdie on that line.
He must be feeling himself after hole 1. I don't think you see that play from him on other days.
Okay, so Erik with a fairway driver in the hands here. I like this. Low, that's great.
Again,
Oh,
just a little
just misses
inside.
inside.
The safer
I like
mistake
everything
to make.
else about it, though. Okay, forehand there for Erik Wiebe. That's well done. Really well done. That's a tough par save from that first choke point.
I do think that it's one of the few shots that looks harder on camera than in person, because that's a spot that shapes up properly for a forehand.
So Casey farther left there. That's a proto PA1. And yeah, he's going to have a look. You have to like his chances to make that one for the par.
Wow. Getting creative with
beautiful
the HO. Unfortunate tree kick, but that's still a putt.
Okay, this would be a heck of a par. This would be a par to write home about for sure if he can make this.
Get out the
That's
pen and paper,
unbelievable.
buddy, because he's writing home.
Write your mama and tell her how good you are at making pars exciting. Whoever said pars are boring has not watched Luke Levesque play hole 2 at Aspen Meadows East. Oh, Casey, little drama on the putt there too. I can't believe that, Jesse. Spike hyzer long OB, 70 feet left, and then make the par putt. That is a wild way to make it happen.
You'll never see that again.
All right, and we're going to see a par frame here where everyone's going to write the same number down possibly. I don't know exactly how far out. Well, no, this is not a foregone conclusion. But
Oh.
if Erik can make... Yeah, this is a tough putt.
And he almost did it with all the foliage in the way.
But yeah, this is a scorecard you need video to tell the story of, because 3 threes and a 4 is not exactly what happened here.
And it is roughly telling the story of the stats. 53% of the field got a par on this one, 45% bogey or worse, and surprisingly, only 1 birdie in the field.
Okay, well, I don't think there was another par like that one, though.
Absolutely
Okay,
not.
hole 3, 569. Plays longer than that. We talked about the round 1, but a variety of options. You can throw a layup to right here, even shorter where these guys are pushing their bags. You can throw a layup to this little bridge over Swampy Creek. You can throw a layup to here. Or you can try to juice one all the way around the corner to this basket. In the past, that's what we've seen from Casey. But I mean, it's a wild drive to get one up to this area. That would make light work to pitch over to our red basket here that we're playing to for what could be a very easy birdie. Regardless of where you land, it takes some planning, I think. What you do off the tee is going to dictate what you do on your second shot. So it's kind of however you like to throw the second shot is going to be where you throw your drive.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to find yourself to a birdie here. It's all about sticking to your game plan and executing it.
We see Luke going for it all. Probably wants that a tiny bit lower, but he's got it turned. Yeah, so a little lower, and that's going to hold straight right out into the open. But even finding the rough there, I think he's going to have a relatively easy pitch up to the basket for the birdie.
Yeah, that's a spectacular shot.
Casey attempting the same play, but this is badly sawed off.
Yeah, just
And
early release.
he's going to be needing some help from spotters there, because that's a spot that if you're on your own, you might not find that disc and where that's going.
Still not an impossible spot to make par from, but it very much depends on how tight you are to the tall trees and your ability to get out.
Okay, so if this can flex a tiny bit, he's going to be loving it. Ooh, nice little bump.
Yeah, perfect. kick
Most
out.
common play, I would say, is that one that we saw from Wiebe.
Yeah, it scores well, and it doesn't ask too much.
Okay, so I like the spot where EHO ended up. It opens up that big power hyzer around the backside of, over the head of where Casey's gone. Oh, but he's going for a flex here.
It looks like he's opting for the flex. The fairway does shape for that flex shot. It's just a little more difficult to execute.
Oh, and he's a little farther back than what I was realizing, so
This
that
looks
does make
great.
sense.
Big drift. Big.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing. 55 feet, I want to say, but I think he's going to have a look.
Yeah, finding edge of circle 2 from there is very, very well done.
So we see a butterfly coming into the camera there, but that spot there where we just saw Wiebe throw from, that's the most common spot to throw, but you just see that tree on the right just kind of cramps your style a little bit. Makes that very demanding.
Oh my goodness. Casey
So-
cranking over a roller angle with a stable disc.
Hey, Luke, yeah, this is an awesome spot. Little putter forehand, panning in. Catches a tree that's kind of unlucky.
Still going to leave him inside circle 1.
So we see Casey's disc upside down the ground. Wow, what a 4. That's an amazing scramble.
Yeah, great work.
He's our version of the Rick Wysocki out here, I guess. The
Paired from
scramble
downtown.
king.
Catching some flag. Just going to nestle up in circle 1.
That was first stroke on the card there from Luke, I believe. Or is this also for birdie for Erik? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
Okay, so I think we're going to see everyone get out of here with a 4. I mean, that's how it's shaping up at least.
There's your first one dropping.
Okay. I'm sure we'll see a scoreboard check in here, but there was more than just this card was in the mix to start this round. So kind of anxious to see how everyone makes it through these first few holes, because we saw in round 1, we saw Erik Hjorth-Olsen starting 3 under through the first 4, but then it's not uncommon at all to see folks 3 over through those same first 4. So we could see a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, those first holes can really define your round, and not only with the numbers, but also your mental game. If you get through the first 2 with a couple bogeys, a couple red marks on your scorecard, you can start to feel it more on 3, and then you step up to 4, and you put a ton of pressure on yourself to birdie. Here is said scorecard.
Okay, so Erik, EHO, the only one really making a lot of move, more than 1 stroke. Everyone else, we were only really seeing a stroke of movement from here. Noah Higgins at +2 for the day. Miguel -1. Josh Minor -1. Riley Douglas -1. Nick Culver -1. Jackson Peace -1. Luke Levesque -1. And Casey Hanemayer even. So not a whole lot happening.
Crazy to see scores in the top 10 almost quadruple from 1st to 10th place. On to hole 4. One of the easier holes on the course. Most of your danger comes from pushing it too straight into the trees in front of us now. Otherwise, it's a very routine place where these guys, and honestly our entire pro field, will be looking to card a birdie. One of those holes that you kind of count on in your round to bring one down for the trouble that you might find on other holes.
Yeah, for sure. A unique amount of pressure here, like that expectation to need the birdie. Obviously, they lengthened it, which maybe alleviated some of that pressure, but then made the challenge of getting the birdie a little bit more difficult. So this looks inside to me. Never mind. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's just a little higher line than I'm used to seeing. So he's throwing that a little harder and then going over those trees on the right, as opposed to going under them on the inside.
Yeah, using the steepness of that hyzer to bring it down.
Yeah, like this shape from Casey here with this height, that is really well thrown, but a close shave on that inside edge.
Definitely a more common shape that we see on this hole, though.
Erik lining himself up out to the right. Okay, so maybe this hyzer is more common than we realized, Jesse.
I guess so. Erik leaves his...
A little short with that much height, yeah.
This looks inside. Okay.
We just don't know. That's perfect. I think that's the shape that you see the most, is that height that we saw there from EHO.
Unfortunate there for Mr. Wiebe not to convert on this one. Just a little low.
Casey, there's obviously a lot going on behind the basket there as he resets on a couple of those. Pops it in. Make it look as easy as it is, I guess, eh?
Yep. Just do your job.
So we're going to see, 3 out of 4 here with the birdies. Wiebe there, that putt from the angle he's coming at, if he zings that by, that can get snookered by the trees down deep and get away from you pretty quick. So understand that he'd be a little cagey on that one.
This one shook out as you'd expect, with 53% of the field birdieing it. Not a single bogey or worse on the day.
So no, that shape, it's just the angle of the camera there. That's just the normal height that we saw from Luke. I think just with the zoom on the camera, it makes it tricks the eye a little bit here. Okay, hole 5, we see pretty straightforward, 224 feet. This is a stock shot, flat forehand with something a little stable. Let it break to the right. Whatever your happy place is here, this is the shot for it. If folks who really aren't comfortable with that approach style birdie hunting forehand, you might see just throw a straight putter backhand and then take the 25-footer from the top of the hill, or even let the hill bump it down to the basket. But either way, this is a shape you got to have if you want to make birdies or even save pars up and down. And I suppose we could see a grenade.
Hole 18 at Worlds, down by 1. It's got to go in.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
The only thing better than watching Park Pro coverage might be watching Park Pro coverage and watching James's throw in the same video.
Pretty good. Do you think that kid really threw that one in that video?
I wouldn't take it from him.
Okay, we choose to believe. That's perfect from Luke. That's that 99 rated forehand we saw in the breakdown at work there. Ooh, inside from Casey.
Works out just fine. Interesting to
Cheating
see him
through the
throw
edge.
that disc too. That's the
What was that?
PX3, and I would have suspected he would have gone to one of his trusty A3s he throws so well.
Let's go, Erik.
Okay, well, I guess you can throw that disc that if it goes through the trees, you might as well lean on that one. Perfect from EHO. Great height on this. It's going to filter right to the basket. Great grouping of drives.
Yeah, you hear Luke in the background saying that's pure, and it definitely had a great line.
Yeah, that's good. I should say too for Casey there, like he's certainly fortunate to get through that low side, but you see a lot of them get through.
Yes, you definitely have to pull the disc off the line to get in trouble here.
Yeah, these are great drives. Really great drives. That's what you want from this hole, is to get your birdie and move on. But, for these guys on the final day, they're probably wishing that someone else wasn't getting it. But better than not getting it yourself.
Yeah, the horrible truth of wishing that one of your competitors throws it into the trees.
Get a nice look at the slow-mo here. That's beautiful. Easy.
Now on to hole 6, 505-foot par 3. Many competitors will try and push this right side either low in the split fairway or high enough over the trees to push the big distance ask for a par 3. And that is not the only challenge on this hole. Once you come in, you have got this green that is heavily protected on the left side, making it very difficult to putt through. Discs that fade out to that side will still leave a challenging putt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes you have to make a business decision on this one if you want to try to absolutely park it by drilling something down the tunnel or taking a big flex that you pull out to the right over the trees, or just kind of let it hyzer to the 50, 60 feet left of the pin. I know myself, I think the smart play is to let it hyzer to the left of the pin, but then it's very hard for me to resist the temptation. We see Luke going back to that disc from hole 1, I believe. Going for the flex, but he does not get over on it. So this is going to go way left. Left is better than right, but if that went as far as it looked like it could, that could be in big trouble.
At least he's far enough. One of the big challenges with this hole is that if you go into the trees early, you still might have 250 feet left and a scramble that has to get through some thick rough.
Okay, we see our leader here also going to the flex, which for the right-handed player certainly takes you towards those trees we just saw from the catch cam angle. Erik going more direct. Ooh, this is a great shape. So this looks like it's headed left of the pin, but great height into that little soft pocket there. So that's the spot I was talking about, that it's more doable to get to that spot than it is to the pin, because you can let the stability of your faster disc leak to the left. Okay, where is this headed?
That looked like an early release to me, but
Okay, look, I think he found the middle there. I don't know if it was off of a deflection, but I think he's had a smile on his face there. So Casey caught something early, a lot of meat on the bone here, and still some work left to do after the approach.
yeah, that'll be a 40-footer and some challenging footing with a couple obstructions. Definitely something he can handle, but not what he was looking for.
Yeah, and Luke, as we feared, did get in there a ways, but he was also down the fairway a long way. Okay, so this is Erik's third shot. We did not get a camera view of his second. So that's going to be his look for bogey. Okay, EHO looking at a birdie from this left side.
Looks like he's got the gap.
Oof.
Just low.
That's a great way to play this hole. You know, you give yourself a look, line it up with that gap that he's in there, and, you know, have a play, but not take quite as much risk as some of the other shapes. Wow, what a par save.
Yeah, that's a spectacular putt. Not as much obstruction as I thought, but you can see that his stance is definitely not his usual, having to dance around some trees.
Okay, so he needed that to maintain his one-stroke edge over Luke.
Yeah, staying very tight through 6.
Another look at this drive, wide rim driver in the hand. Just caught one of the branches on those early aspens. But he wasn't too far out. Just on the edge of the circle. That's how this guy makes money on the weekends.
This is more of what I do on the weekends.
Love to see it. That gives you an idea of the vibe in the evenings around here. Okay, we see the leaderboard, a little bit of separation here for Casey and Luke. We see a 3-stroke gap open up between Luke Levesque and Erik Wiebe, and both of the Eriks, Erik Hjorth-Olsen. Jackson Peace lingering, even par. Look at the string of evens there. Even par for Jackson, Noah, Nick, Riley, and Josh. All wanting to have made a move at this point in the round, but they'll have to be patient. Okay, hole 7. This is the shot that's got to turn and then turn again. I think we talked about it in the first round again, but you've got to make it through this gap here that you can't see. This little field goal post here. Any good shot's going to have to go through there in some way. So higher shots make it easier to kind of get the disc up and turning in space, but then harder to maybe get the flex back that you'd like to have to flatten it out through the end of the flight. Not a lot of birdies on this hole. On this lead card is generally where you do see the birdies when you see them. You don't see a ton of birdies from the bottom of our field. This is a slower disc from Luke going forehand here.
And inside, out of the hand, that will be a very challenging spot. The rough is very thick on either side of the late gap. He might have put himself into deep scramble territory there.
That's an aggressive shape. Casey taking this a little wider, a little safer. Wow. That's a great result. A4 there from Casey to edge of the circle.
And that's a birdie position on this hole. You don't see too many get closer than that.
Okay, another one wider here from EHO. Is he going to have a look as well? Circle 2, most likely. So all these guys going forehand.
This might be indicative that I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, for me, it's indicative that I don't have the skill set that a lot of these guys that are hanging out on lead card this year do.
Wow. And here we see Luke. He's back on the green of 6, trying to go over the top, and doesn't make it.
You know, the over-the-top play is for sure the play from where he's at, but it needs to choose an over-the-top line that doesn't bring that tree into play, I think. Safe little fluffy bid there from Wiebe. dropping in some pars here while they wait on Luke, I would suppose.
Yeah, EHO doesn't want to wait around. Get it done and move on.
Casey. For a rare birdie. Wow. High, center, cash.
Such
Wow,
a
that's
phenomenal
big with
putter.
Luke in trouble here. Hey, with Luke in trouble at getting the birdie.
And he doesn't even make it out, thankfully. Just nestles up on the edge, not too far from the basket.
So what, just a moment ago on the green that's just on the other side of the bushes where Luke was throwing his second, Casey had a putt where that he needed to keep this from being tied. And now, just like that, it's a 3-stroke gap.
Yeah,
that was only a bogey from Luke?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. That's actually not too shabby considering the lies he was dealing with.
No. Stop the bleeding. Anything coming back over the top that was any worse than that could have spelled absolute disaster. That hole kind of telling the story of the race for the lead. Now, on to hole 8. The signature hole of this course, in my opinion, and my absolute favorite. 520-foot par 4. OB to the left side of where the drone is flying now. There's a big pocket of marshy deadfall in there that is OB, and it curls around to this beautiful sloped green, which is also fully surrounded in OB. A lot of drama can happen here, a lot of potential for different plays. Some guys trying to chase a dragon, go all the way over in one. Many will also try to lay up close to the short pad / drop zone for this hole, and then play one around the corner or over the top.
You gonna do it?
What is this? 1 year ago. Oh, yeah. So they got me en route to victory, backwards eating a banana.
I think that's how you forwards eat bananas.
No. Casey, uneating a banana as well. So based on what we've seen from these guys earlier, I think we're going to see possibly all 4 of them make this same play here, this little low power forehand. This,
Wow.
okay, it did get to the right at the end, but
That was
Okay,
a
we're gonna
lucky
see
kick
mid-range
off the tree.
backhand.
That was hunting for some OB.
ooh, this is well thrown if it holds. Needs to go. Needs to hurry. Wow, that's awesome.
That's a great shot, and one that you don't see as often on this hole. That is the fully committed shot to play the fairway as intended. I think most people that are planning to get there in 2 will lay up shorter.
Yeah, for sure. But anything that you lay up shorter than what we saw from EHO there is going to leave a very stressful shot to cross the wasteland into the green. But he's beyond the wasteland now and has a simple little, pig zone pitch forehand into the green.
Yeah, 90% of the pressure is off for Erik. And now the pressure could be on for Luke. Anything that gives you poor footing to cross over or approach the green can be very challenging.
Hey, what is this? This is a grenade from Wiebe. I think this is going inbounds. Yeah,
Yeah.
to the belly of the green.
That is great.
That's a spot I think folks can learn from to if you're not in prime position to play for that fat section of the green that's just a little shorter and not challenge the trees that are to the right of the pin there. See Luke here. That needs to settle down. Wow, and he gets some settle down assistance.
Yeah, a little bit of tree love there. That might have even been in danger of skipping or getting ground reactions towards OB without that tree.
Yeah, I think that was going long without the tree, but then it found all kinds of new danger after the tree as well. Yeah, look at that. Look how low stress that is for Erik.
Yep.
Taking on the challenge off the tee.
Keeping it routine, and Casey, knowing he's got that lead, plays the hole for par.
Yeah, par's not going to kill you out here. That's certainly not how you lose a tournament out here by making par on 8. You lose a tournament out here by making an 8 on 8, which we have seen.
I think what you have seen up close and personal, I believe.
Maybe not on coverage, though.
Rookie
But
move
yeah.
admitting that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
2 clean birdies.
Couple of birdies.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And that's 1 stroke clawed back for Luke against Casey.
Okay, valuable. So, that gap's only 2. Get another look at the putt. Gorgeous. More hyzer than we see from him on his normal putt, taking it around that tree there. Okay, last hole for the front 9 before we start our sprint down the back 9. But OB on the left, the barbed wire there, you'll get 2 meters relief if you find yourself close to it. And then the big thing here is getting it up the hill and then around this defining tree that's in the fairway on the left. Keeping this thing on line for whatever reason seems to be quite a challenge. I doubt that we'll see any forehands. We should just see a bunch of backhands with slower discs here to try to keep the disc from fading out. But staying committed to your shape is for sure easier said than done on this one.
Yeah, I've been doing some thinking about that since we watched the first round, and it must be because the tee pad is very flat against the slope. You aren't running up with the slope as if you were playing the fairway.
Yeah, absolutely. Whew. Great shot from Erik.
Yep.
I think he went under the branches of the tree. Is that right?
Yep. And he'll still get his 2 meter relief there, so he'll have about a 25 footer left.
That looks good as well if he gets the ground play. Yeah.
I think
it's
that
2/3 of the ground play we needed.
To hit the ground right about the front edge of the circle and let it, lose some speed on that upslope and shuffle down.
This is in danger. But good, safe. Yeah. 2 meters, as you said, will take him well inside the circle from there. Beautiful.
Just a little turn in case it fucking early releases.
Yep, great shot. Looked like it was leaking a little bit right, but I think that's the shape you want to stay away from that final tree.
Yeah, he's sending a little message to the chase card there as well. Let him know. Wow.
This feels so routine for Casey.
Just on a stripe. That was from outside the circle as well. Now Luke just to keep pace to not lose a stroke.
Maybe just a little bit undercommitted there. A lot of height, very nose down, not a lot of pace.
I think that putt's a little tougher, when you think, where you see where Casey's at, maybe you're thinking you're going to be able to have a chance to claw another one of those strokes you lost earlier back. And then when Casey just, cashes it in, makes it look so easy, it may be a little deflating. That could be a bit of made-up storytelling by me, though. You don't know.
That mental back and forth is real. You're counting that this one might be a stroke in your favor, and you're going to get the swing, and suddenly it falls apart.
Beautiful framing. Thank you so much to the camera guys at Park Pro. Who do you think's responsible for this one? Got to be Andre.
That is an Andre shot if I ever saw one. And really, we're so lucky to have this coverage. Nobody does the camera game better than the boys at Park Pro.
And some beautiful B-roll of the fires. Okay, so we're back to that 3-stroke lead now for Casey at minus 15, 12 for Luke, 11 for EHO, Erik Wiebe at minus 10. And I think that's probably the cutoff for winning. A lot of money to be made here at this point for everybody else, but I think the victory is going to come off of our lead card now.
Yeah, you can see things starting to tighten up a lot, but talking about the difficulty of this tournament, T8 at 3 down for the tournament. You are making money at this event if you're under par.
Hey, 9 holes remain. We'll see you on the back 9. Like, subscribe, and check out the Patreon at Park Pro.
Peace. Catch you on the next one. Bye.